Welcome back everybody to another episode of Sneaker Updates. This will be Sneaker Updates number 112. If you happen to be new here, feel free to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on every hype sneaker. Essentially, in this series we go over sneakers that received updates throughout the week. For example, some of those may potentially include some Jordans, Dunks, and more. But with that short intro out of the way, why don't we jump right into the first update. Kicking it off, we'll be discussing the Jordan 1 UNC Toe once again. If you guys saw the recent sneaker updates video, you'll know that I did mention that the rumors were indeed true. The Jordan 1 UNC Toe would be shock dropping, and the stock is quite significant. Well, earlier today, Nike did load the placeholder information on the public endpoint for these. That placeholder data showed that these are now set to drop tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, what did I say in the last video, and what have I been saying for multiple shock drops ever since that LeBron 7 shock drop? These public endpoints can no longer be trusted. For example, those LeBrons were showing the next day at 12 p.m. Eastern time on that endpoint. Despite this, the real source was saying no, it's 10 a.m. Eastern time. Sure enough, it was 10 a.m. and all those tweets going based off the public endpoint were deleted. Another example was the recent Jordan Reserve with Jordan 3 White Cement and Jordan 5 UNC. Again, the data on the endpoint was incorrect, while the real time was actually 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. Again, a bunch of tweets ended up suddenly disappearing. So, don't count on this being the actual time. I'd really hate to see you guys expect it to be at this precise time 100%, not be near your phone or by your computer, and then you end up missing the drop if Nike ends up changing things, just as they have for the past few shock drops. As always, the real information will always be posted inside of Endurance, just like it has for every single shock drop and sneakers hunt since 2018. Endurance does not rely on these endpoints, and that's why regardless of what public sources say, the info in here is always accurate. If you are interested in joining, you can with the link in the description below. I do want to encourage you to join for more reasons other than shock drop info though, because we offer so much more than that too, such as custom in-house monitors to catch restocks on profitable items that you never see on Twitter, not to mention our focus on numerous other profitable markets even outside of sneakers to expand your horizons as a reseller, whether that's concert tickets, sports cards, vinyls, electronics, freebies, and much more. So again, if you're interested, you can feel free to join with the link in the description below. But anyway, as for stock on these, the total stock for men's pairs on Nike alone is under 300,000 pairs and under 140,000 pairs for grade school, making that well over 400,000 pairs between men and grade school alone, and that doesn't even include preschool and toddler. And this is only Nike. Yeah, that's a lot of stock to say the least. Not all this stock will be dropping on the shock drop, of course, but a large portion will be allocated to it, meaning you should still have a pretty good chance at copying. Let me know if you guys want a sell or hold video for these shock drop pairs by leaving a like on the video, and I'll make sure to cover that. In terms of some general information on these, just to remind you guys, retail is $180 for men, $140 for grade school. Contrary to most recent Jordan 1s, I would expect these to be profitable with a decent margin, especially in large sizes, but definitely nothing crazy. While UNC colorways in general tend to garner a significant amount of demand, and this far out from the release we're already seeing really impressive demand and sale volume, the reason I can't say I'm expecting a very good margin is because of that absolutely massive stock. Unfortunately, it's not just about demand, it's supply and demand. So these won't do as good as you might hope, but it should still be a good opportunity nonetheless, especially with these early shock drop pairs, and you'll be able to sell them before the rest of the pairs all go into circulation. The full release date was supposed to be the 8th, but it was delayed, so the actual full release date will be on July 22nd, providing quite a lot of time in between from the shock drop pairs going into circulation and the full drop pairs going into circulation. So that's something interesting. If you can't join Endurance, by the way, I would at least recommend following my Twitter, KeithAdam10, because I do prepare the tweets in advance to ensure they're always sent the fastest as soon as the shock drop does go live. With those out of the way though, now moving on to some Jordan updates. First, we got a detailed look at the Jordan 11 DMP, and wow, these look incredible. These used to be grails for many of us, and on December 9th, for $225, we'll finally have another chance to get a fresh pair. Despite the super high demand on these, stock on these is supposed to be very high, like we have seen on all classic Jordan 11 re-retros, being over 1 million pairs. That coupled with the really high retail of $225 likely means that these will be profitable, but only with a subpar margin despite their crazy demand, like we usually see with these classic 11s like the Bread 11s or the Concord 11s when they initially dropped. Next up, we finally got a release date for the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golf Lemon Twist. They will be dropping on October 13th for $170. While I would not expect these to do as well as normal Travis Scott Jordan 1 Lows, I'd still expect them to be very profitable with an incredible margin, full throttle. Unfortunately, we have no news for Yeezys today, so with that, let's move on to some miscellaneous sneakers. First, the Ambush Airmore Uptempo Low Limestone will be dropping this fall for $190. Ambush collabs no longer carry much hype in general, and the Uptempo itself doesn't either, so I'd expect these to just be personals. Next, we got our first in-hand look at the Dunk Low Gray Gum, which drops later this year for $115. At best, I'd only expect lunch money with a poor margin for these in large sizes. And the same goes for the Dunk Low Women's Green Snake, which drops later this year for $125. They might end up just being personals, but of course, I'll update you guys closer to the drop. In some more exciting news though, we got a first look at the Kobe 6 Reverse Grinch, courtesy of XC Sneaker. These drop on December 16th for $180. Given the insane hype on the Grinch pair, I would expect some of that to carry for these two, making them profitable with a decent to good margin, but definitely not what you saw on the actual Grinches. Moving on, we got another Dunk Low Be True coming soon. These drop later this summer for $120. Unfortunately, like the prior True pairs, I'd expect these to just be personals. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Remember, you can now join Endurance with the link in the description for a limited time, and you could also purchase Gargantua with the link in the description for a limited time. We just added an auto checkout module for drop NFTs, which are frequently profitable with pretty solid margins. And with that said, I just want to say good luck on these upcoming releases, and of course, have a fantastic rest of your day.